up, guys? Killing that Soundgarden, that song, that guitar from Soundgarden is unreal. So I'll wait a little bit for a couple of people to roll up here. But I just finished my training session, had an awesome training session, had a great warm-up. I'm gonna give you guys a little scan of my gym and take you through what I would do here for a warm-up. It's not always the same, but my warm-ups are fairly long, as well as for the athletes. They go through a lot of movement prep, they do a lot of hurdle jumping and agility work, and basically overall athleticism. Gold Body, thanks so much. Mike Stella, what's up? Jeff Farneski in the house. All right, guys, so let me give you a quick rundown of how things went here. I started off with 2 sets of sled drags. And by the way, today I used my knee sleeves because my right knee was feeling jacked up from all the jumping I did training with the Rutgers guys. And I went sleds, back extensions on the yellow, pile off press right here to both sides. Then I went down to the other end of the gym, and I had a band up there. You see it now. I was doing leg curls, but I had a band up on the pull-up bar for face pulls, triceps. I did light dumbbell benching over here, and then I did walking lunges back down the turf to restart this warm-up. Sometimes I do some soft tissue work before I train. Today I did it at the end. Took the center mass bell, smashed up my quad. That right quad and that right knee is not so hot the past 2 years. And after 3 knee surgeries and just smashing that knee into the wrestling mat, you know, I don't know if God put us on this earth to do those things. Maybe God did create us to be wrestlers and to be savages. But after that, you guys may have seen the video. I posted it. I did deadlifts. I worked up to 405 for 5, which is good. Felt really good. And then I went over here, talked to you guys about some history. I posted these 150-pound plates on my Instagram about a week and a half ago. These were gifted to me by a guy that took a trip down from Connecticut, a little over 2-hour drive to get down to Manasquan. He heard me on the Power Athlete podcast and said, "Man, you said you're like the American Pickers of weightlifting." So he goes, "I had to give these to you." And given to him, they were from Gary Gubner, who was, I posted his photo. They put him on the cover of Strength and Health and said, he is the strongest teenager in America, maybe they said. He was a shot putter, and I don't know if he threw in the Olympics or tried to, but he went into weightlifting, Olympic lifting, and I've seen photos of him online. I knew of him, so it was pretty darn awesome. And the guy told me that he would leave these 150-pound plates on the bar, on the squat rack. He would warm up, so that's 345 pounds. So I did my heavy 5 on the deadlift. I did 3x5 right here from right below the knee. So that's 345. Also want to show you this barbell. Guys, this bar is legitimately like the first real full-blown bar I picked up. It's a Texas Power Bar, got it from Elite FTS. You can see the thick collar there, and bumper plates sometimes have a hard time fitting on here. But got the center knurling, not crazy tight. And before that, the semi-first real bar I got was this one with the chalk. That's an Ivanko bar, but it was like Ivanko Light. And that Ivanko Light has a 700-pound test. This Texas Power Bar, 1,500 pounds. And it goes to show you, I bought that Ivanko bar when I was training out of my parents' house in Edison back in the early days before, you know, I had any website stuff going on. When I was training athletes out of my garage, the first house I bought with my wife, this was the first real barbell I bought, and bought it from Elite FTS. I was on their Q&A team. Jim Wendler, I still remember inviting me to be on the Q&A staff when I was with those guys up in Syracuse at a early days Elite FTS like performance summit. You know, Buddy Morris was there, Joey D. It was just great. Dave, of course. And it was awesome. So I love putting my hands on a bar or grabbing plates where I know the iron history, there's history in it. Check this stuff, guys. You see these thick handle dumbbells? They're about 75 pounds. This one a little lighter to the right. Thick handle dumbbells from a barn at Blair Academy when I was working with their wrestling team with Coach Buxton. A lot of these old York roundheads here were gifted to me. You could see these plates, very old. The Weeder 44s, you got the chrome silvers that Ed Cohn was using when he was on the cover of Muscle and Fitness. And of course, those wide flange Ivankos. And I used to train at a gym where all they had were those wide flange Ivankos. And ain't nothing sweeter than squatting and hearing those damn plates rumble. And I don't know why, but back then we didn't use clamps. And nobody, I'm going to tell you something, guys. Nobody's plates flew off one side. Nobody dumped a bar. Nobody missed reps. And people were friggin' strong. There was a squat cage in the center of them. And they made a platform like this, except on the floor, they put 2 tires. 1, 2, 1, 2. Boom, tires. Squeezed them together. Framed it out. Raised the platform. And there was a cage. And the only cage was like just the cage. So it didn't have the weight holders. It just had the cage. And when those powerlifters were not there, you didn't even touch it because you were scared. You had to be invited into their powerlifting group. You had to earn your way to work with those guys. And I remember seeing guys bench 500 pounds, deadlifts over 500 pounds, squats over 5 plates. You saw everybody in that gym was benching 3 plates. That was a completely common thing. Guys that were benching were coming from work. You'd see people showing up in a suit and tie. They'd go to the locker room and they'd put on their old sweatpants and their old tank top and a sweatshirt with the collar cut. And you had to cut that collar to show that you had the traps. That was like the way of letting yourself know that hell's yeah, I've arrived. That's little Dave. Thanks, my man. So speaking about Louis Simmons, you know, Louis says when you get older, you have to train more. You have to build your tendons and ligaments. So that's why my warm-up has a lot of that bodybuilding work. You hear Matt Wenning speaking about that. I'm going to try to reach out to him and get him on the Strong Life podcast, or maybe do like an Instagram Q&A with him. But I've been doing a lot of that rep work, and if you've been following me for a bit, you've heard me speak about my injuries. I like to be very transparent about, you know, the bumps and bruises I've gone through along the way. And my shoulder, I had surgery 2 years ago, and then the summer after I had surgery, something literally felt like it exploded in my shoulder. But now I'm feeling really good. I benched this week with a bamboo bar with the jump stretch bands and the kettlebells hanging from it, and then I added a chain to it. I went very light, but my shoulder felt fine. I'm dumbbell benching. I'm not going heavy. I mean, I used to dumbbell bench 130s. Now I just, kind of stay. I don't really go heavier than those 80s. I tend to keep those reps when I'm going heavier, just 5s. But today I was doing a lot of dumbbell benching and dumbbell flies with 40s, 50s, 60s. I do a ton of dumbbell tricep extensions, rollbacks, tape presses, a lot of band work. So I'm doing that 100+ reps of, joint integrity work and just making my body more durable. I did 3 sets of banded leg curls at the end. And basically, guys, I move pretty fast. I'll do a set, I'll add the weight, and then I'll go. I'll tend to do circuits, or I'll do a main lift, and I'll sneak in smaller things in between. So I might be deadlifting, but I'm doing some band face pulls and band triceps. The next round, deadlift with a side plank, or deadlift with a pull-off press. And you've got to be fit. You have to be in shape, especially us bigger guys. We're not out there running and doing all this long-distance cardio. But what I found is that if you do a lot of farmer walks and sled work and jumping rope, you build up that stamina, as well as going on an Airdyne bike, things like that. There's a lot of ways to make it happen. So it was a great training session. And when I train hard, I feel more creative. I feel more productive. I feel better about myself. It's the best therapy. And you may have heard my recent podcast, just posted it last night, and speaking with Jared Moon. And we were talking about how we're not nice people to be around if we don't train. And I said, yeah, I tell my wife, that's the one thing I need. It's like makes me a better human being. And for all you guys out there that are, meatheads and iron addicts, you've got to always put yourself first when it comes to training. Because if you're not strong, if you're not healthy, if you're not fit, you're not going to feel good about life. You're going to be shitty in all your other areas of life. Little Dave said, for wrestlers at 195, is high reps better than low reps? You need to do both, Dave. So if you look at any of the videos I post, you see us jumping, you see us sprinting, you see us lifting free weights, you see us lifting dumbbells, kettlebells, you see us lifting all those sandballs. We've got sandballs up to 150 here, kegs all down there. We do all of it, Mom. That's really the basis of the conjugate system, is that you have days where you're focused on speed and explosive power, days where you're focused on strength, and then you want to sup all that stuff with high repetition work. The reps are going to build muscle, and they're going to build your tendons and ligaments. They also build muscular endurance. Encyclopedia of Underground Strength, guys, on Dragon Door, they have a sale, and it's ending today, 30% off. So go to dragondoor.com and check out my book. 30% off is going to be like, I think, $20-something. Might be like $28, $29. 400-page book. You guys will love it. Alexander, yeah, dude, absolutely, my man. So we have to train. We have to do stuff. And that's why I have stuff in my garage. I had a satellite location in a baseball facility, and I shut it down. So I took the trap bar. I took a 70-pound D-ball. And I think that's all I added. So I have the straight bar. I've got the bumper plates. I've got kettlebells and center mass bells. Not too many, just a couple of pairs. I push all that stuff over to the side so it's not in the way of the kids. And I could go in the garage and do ring pull-ups and rope climbing. I could farmer walk down the street. I also have a sled, one of the earliest sleds my dad had welded for me back when I was training the athletes out of my garage. I remember training the Edison High School sport teams, and I ran a summer camp, and I would put the stuff in the back of my Isuzu Rodeo. I'd back it up to the edge of the soccer field, and I'd have those guys do sandbag and sled workouts, and I would destroy those kids. I already bought it. I need that undertook strength, that snap a dude face. Oh, underhook strength, snap a dude face to the mat. Dave, I'm going to tell you, you need two things, my man. Follow the workouts from the book, okay? You must do them. And number two, work that skill, work that technique into your wrestling, into the drilling, into the live wrestling. So if you don't if you don't blend the strength and the skill, then you don't build the athleticism for your sport. So you got to blend them. Mike says, when did you shut that down? Recently, getting into the schools. So I had a satellite location inside of a baseball facility. We couldn't even give it away. It really sucked so bad. It was really a disappointment. I trained a coach as an intern at one of our locations. We had to pull him to that location. And as soon as I left, all they did was change the name of the program, and now there's kids doing it, which is, interesting. A lot of people say, I don't think underground strength gym is intimidating, but parents really just don't know. They think we only train wrestlers, where our earliest group of athletes, out of my garage, I trained baseball players, football players, and wrestlers. And I've transformed all of them. So sometimes it's just too much, being around the wrong people in the wrong location, the wrong place, it ain't good. So I am looking to try to get back to the schools and just work with kids on a more consistent basis. It's old news, emailing 100 coaches and nobody replies back to you. I don't respect people who don't want to send a simple no thanks response back. It's a shame because I'm just trying to help the kids. I don't do any breath work. I definitely need to. Next week, by the way, guys, I'm going to podcast with Dana Santis, Mobility Maker on Instagram. She does all this breath work with military, Major League Baseball teams are huge clients of hers, so I will dig into that stuff with her. Recovery work, my recovery, my meditation is when I'm lifting weights. Any opinions about distance coaching and where the industry's going? Hey, Coach Vivo. I do. I have Gladiator Strong on Train Heroic. It's very hard. Some people are crushing it. The guys at Para-Athlete, MASH Elite, Cal Strength, they are crushing it. I can't seem to put my finger on what it takes to get people to say, yes, I want to be coached by you. My forte is just no longer any of this business stuff. It just doesn't inspire me. Rosa was not a state champ. He never won a match his freshman year. His second year, I believe, he went something like 11-1, 15-1. And then his senior year, he qualified for states. He was wrestling in college, but it just wasn't for him, so he works with his dad. And great kid, love that kid, one of my favorites. I'm just a football guy. Yeah, Mike, it's pretty amazing the stuff I hear. Motahar, what's up, bro? My brother. Love seeing you, my friend. Hope one day we meet. So, guys, there's I'll take any questions before I cut out. I've got a match tonight with Rutgers, and just want to organize some stuff at home for the family before I leave. But, this location here, I want to say, like, people asking about business stuff, you got it, Coach Vivo. I'm going to, dig into the recent podcast with Travis Mash on... oh, crap. I just started listening to it, and they were talking about the barbell club in the schools. I think it's called like Hassle-Free Barbell Club. And basically he took strength and conditioning and turned it into a class. And a couple of years ago, 2 years ago exactly, I was about to go on an interview at a high school down south. And they wanted me to basically, be the strength coach, teach weightlifting. And they had something like 12 or 14 or 15 double-sided squat racks. And the football coach was so pumped up. It was amazing to hear how open-minded they were down there. And he said, man, if my kids don't lift the week of a football game, they don't play football. He goes, what we do around here, he's like, I go to church and football. He goes, that's what I do. And when I told them that didn't think that was like going to be a good place for my family, I wasn't feeling it, they said, you should have told us, we would have helped you find housing. And it's like, wow, amazing how serious they took the training. And this coach, this football coach, respected my knowledge. He respected what I could do, what I could bring to the school. And I haven't experienced that in Jersey, and it's been pretty disappointing when a coach to another coach, kind of leads you down a path and then they just don't respond to you. I don't really have respect to that. I like people who are straightforward and say yes, no. They don't BS. They don't, give you the runaround. I don't have a respect for that, because what I'm constantly after this has nothing to do with me. It has to do with the kids. What can we do to give these kids the best opportunity to succeed? And maybe it doesn't have to be strength and conditioning for sport. It could be weightlifting, a Strong Life Barbell Club. And that being said, with the Strong Life podcast and the Underground Strength Gym, hopefully nobody's out there. I find people all around calling their gym Underground Strength Training. It's so weak. I want people to simply be honest and truthful and have some integrity. And that's probably a big reason, guys. You'll go to my YouTube channel, you'll see my vlogs. It's a big reason why I'm talking about getting out of this quote-unquote industry, because I'm sure it's like this everywhere, right? Everywhere that there's money, your quote-unquote friends are quickly not your friends as soon as they could get that little bit step to save their ass. And I just can't accept that. I can't be around that. That's not something I'm about. I'm about these kids. I'm about making people strong. And I'm about, be about it. Don't talk about it. So maybe I'm a bit of an old soul, but I'm okay with that, because that's it. I am who I am, guys, as Popeye said. All right, guys. Unfortunate. It became a CYA culture. Process is more important. Yeah, Alex, hate to say that. And a lot of people have said that to me. basketball coach brought me into a private school, wanted to introduce me to the athletic director. And he said, man, past 10 years, and this was like 3 years ago, he said, athletics have taken a back seat. He goes, administration doesn't want to deal with the backlash of complaining parents. So I'm just going to have to deal with it, guys. I don't think any path is easy, but I do think that in your heart, there's some sort of a compass. There's a compass that's guiding you, and that's your gut instinct. And if you deny it, I believe you'll pay the price. You'll feel it. So I'm trying to do the right thing, and that's it. I appreciate you guys. Go on over to undergroundstrengthcoach.com. That's the Underground Strength Academy. Had a lot of people last month get involved in that and then get certified online, undergroundstrengthcert.com. And Gladiator Strong on Train Heroic. And guys, if you ain't on my daily newsletter, you're missing out big time. Go to zachevnish.com, click the Start Here button, sign up. You are going to love it, man. And that's it, guys. Peace out. Have a great weekend. Much respect.